Hey there, John here with the Blues Guitar Institute, and this is your Tuesday Blues, where we take cool acoustic blues concepts and we break them down into small bite-sized chunks and get them into your playing every single Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about Piedmont Blues. This is a real cool sound, a real cool area of the blues, and I like to think about it as kind of the cousin to Delta blues. They're definitely related. There's definitely some overlap here, but to me, Delta's got sort of a grittier edge to it, whereas Piedmont sounds kind of bright and poppy, and on the whole, just a little more upbeat, if you will. Now, these are gross oversimplifications of two very nuanced styles of music, but that's the way I tend to think of this, and I personally love the sound of Piedmont. And we're going to break it down into a few things that are very actionable that you can do to help you get the Piedmont sound on your guitar. First up, you got to know how to do some alternating bass. And I've got some other lessons on alternating bass, which is really using the thumb to alternate the bass, right? We're going to alternate between, say, the 5th string and the 4th string. Piedmont Blues is full of this technique, this picking technique. But we want to take things a step or a few steps further. And I want you to really reach for this as a goal. So what's happening there is I'm pushing through with my thumb and getting the meat of this C chord to happen just by pushing through, pushing down on that bass on beat 2 and beat 4. So we've got our 1 beat is on the 5th string, and then 2 is pushing through, and then 3 is on the 5th string, and then 4 is pushing through. So that's beat 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you got to add that staccato sound to it, meaning just those short, choppy, punchy notes. That really helps to give Piedmont its sound. I told you it was rooted in ragtime, and there's just a lot to be said about how you apply some rhythmic techniques to the guitar if you want to get that cool Piedmont sound going. So what you want to do is aim for that. And notice how my hand kind of bounces up and down slightly when I'm playing that. That's part of it. I'm really just pressing down on the string when I want that note to sound and immediately picking up after. And that has a muting effect, kind of chokes out the note. The other thing that you can do, and we're going to do this for the example piece that we're going to get to, is instead of pushing through, I wanted you to know that that's there because it definitely happens, and it's a great way to really work on the thumb. But you can use your index finger and do a brush up technique so that you're brushing up through the top of this chord. And if you do that and you choke down in that same way, you're getting a lot more action on the top of the chord, and it has this cool, punchy rhythm sound. Just change it to an F. And I'm just playing that F as the triad here on strings 4, 3, and 2, but then hooking over and grabbing F and the bass on the 6th string with my thumb. Really practice this and make sure that you can switch between this C chord and the F chord. Of course, there are many other chord combinations that are common in Piedmont, but this is a great place to start. You really work with a familiar C chord, and you can even pluck simultaneously. The idea is that we're going for that choppy note sound. We want it to just kind of choke out immediately. You'll find yourself needing to call on all three of these techniques, whether you're going down with the thumb or up with the index finger, or even plucking simultaneously, like that. Make sure that you can get that. And now we're going to move on to another core characteristic of Piedmont Blues, and that is syncopation. So far we've been playing on the beat. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. But Piedmont is full and is known for its use of a syncopated rhythm. Remember, I said it's got its roots in ragtime. Think ragged time, and you can kind of get an idea of where this is all coming from. It's not perfectly in time. It's ragged, right? So instead of just playing straight on the beat, you might get something like this in a Piedmont tune. So hear how we're now displacing some of the main accents. just by adding a little bit to the end of this. We're still starting out the same, but here is where we syncopate. And that's really just this quick little move. And that is going to do a whole lot. You could play this throughout a 12-bar progression, and you're going to sound pretty cool, really rhythmic. Now, the next thing that you'll want to add, and this is where things get a whole lot of fun, is add a nice little lick that repeats throughout your progression. This is a great way to practice. It's a great way to learn a new lick and then really get it into your playing. And we're going to go over one in just a second. But know that this is a characteristic of Piedmont Blues. You'll oftentimes hear some of the great players, like I'm listening to a lot of Blind Willie McTell right now, and you'll hear him just kind of lay back while he's singing something like this. But then when it's time and the vocal takes a break, you'll often hear a nice little guitar line, something along these lines. So just a nice, quick, but very bright little lick. And what I'm doing in this lick in particular is we do our 1 or actually that's beat 1 and 2. So on the next beat, we're going to start this descending line on the 2nd string. So we're going here, the E flat down to the D, and then down to the C. Then go to the A here on the 3rd string, and then back to the C. Then hit the open G, and then this move here on the E note, 4th string, 2nd fret to the open D. And then you're going to end on a C7. This is a cool way to make a nice little statement, something a little bit unsettled and unresolved about going to this dominant 7th chord here, which is really just occurring by putting your pinky down on the 3rd fret of the 3rd string and hitting that flat 7th note, but landing on it right at the last beat really gives you a sense that we're going somewhere else. So let's hear this, and I'll play it through on the slow side. We'll do the lick, ending with that C7, and then change chords. And I'll let you hear how this sounds in the context of an entire progression. And there's just one more thing that we haven't covered in order to do that, and that is playing this over a G chord. So really what's happening there is I'm fretting up a G chord in this way. You could do it this way, but really I want to encourage you to get in the habit of fretting your G chord this way because it works great for finger picking. So if you're doing that, we're just going to do our alternating bass between the 6th string and the 4th string. And then the rhythm, the syncopated rhythm is pretty much the same. So here we go, play through on the slow side. I'm just going to play through 12 bars with the alternating bass intact, with the short choppy staccato rhythm happening, with the syncopated rhythm definitely going on, and then we're going to use that recurring lick. So here we go. If you speed it up, things get a whole lot of fun. All right, so there you go. A few things to keep in mind that will really help you get that Piedmont sound. A quick recap, you've got the alternating bass happening with the thumb picking, then you've got this staccato rhythmic approach, then you've got the syncopated rhythm where you actually displace and play a little bit offbeat, and then 4, you've got a nice lick that recurs throughout this thing. Now, this is by no means the end-all be-all for Piedmont Blues. That's what I love about this, is that this style of playing is that it's very nuanced. We certainly have our common threads, and these four things are among those, but there's a whole nother world out there. If you haven't checked out players like Blind Willie McTell or Blind Boy Fuller or Blind Blake or a host of other great Piedmont pickers, then I highly recommend you spend some time and get to know their catalog. These are absolute true virtuosos on the guitar from a long time ago, and I think you'll really dig it. If you enjoyed this lesson and you want to take things further, then check out bluesguitarinstitute.com. I've got 3 free lessons that you can sign up for, and it will really help build a foundation for you in the blues. It's called the Acoustic Blues Jumpstart, and head over to bluesguitarinstitute.com/start now, and you can check out those free 3 lessons and get started building your foundation in the blues. That's it for this week. Be sure to practice smart, play on, and I'll see you next Tuesday.